Good morning, everyone on the West Coast, and I suppose good afternoon for those on the East Coast. As Kennedy said, I'm Kevin Hooks. I'm the Chief Community Officer for Acorns, and I'm going to do a couple things that are a little different. First of all, I'm going to warn you in advance. I move around. I'll move my hands around. I'll move around. I'll fidget, but I do that just because I like to be energetic and I'm a little ADD. That being said, I want to make sure that we walk away from this session with five. I want to leave with five nuggets that'll help you grow your own. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about who I am, and then I'm going to steal a whole lot from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and then I'm going to close it out with a Q&A. So walk away. There's going to be five key takeaways. So if you're taking notes, get ready. Here we go. So a little bit about me. When I graduated from college, so we're talking about diversity, equity, inclusion. I think this applies across the board. But when I graduated from college, it was in very similar times. Companies weren't hiring as aggressively. Things were difficult, and the company I wanted to work for had a hiring freeze, and that company was Walmart. And so I wanted to be a manager at Walmart. That was what I had my eyes set on, and they were having a hiring freeze. So I wrote a letter to the regional personnel managers, what they called it back then, and I offered to go through the management training program for free. And I got a response back from him saying, "Hey, listen, we've got a job for you in store as a cashier, but we're going to make it a floating cashier, and we're going to train you in all areas of the store. We can't let you work for free, and we can't undo the hiring freeze, but we can get you started in case the freeze, is lifted at some point." And lo and behold, I'd been working there about 3 weeks and loving it. I mean, it was just a new experience. And, for me, the idea of actually making money at the time was amazing because I'd been in college for 4 years. And I was as a head of the cashiers that weekend, I see an older gentleman come in with a family, and he had three carts full of items. And so I opened up an unopened checking lane, and I started to check him out. And I was like, "Listen, we appreciate your business. It's amazing. I've never seen someone with three cartloads full of stuff. What are you doing?" He said, My nephew is getting ready to go to college, and we're here buying college stuff for him." And I said, "Look, let me help you get out of here. I know it's a busy time." And I started, ringing him up. And he looked me in the eye and he said, "Sir, I really appreciate it." He said, "What's your name?" And I told him, "I'm Kevin." He said, "So what do you do?" And I said, "Well, I'm trying to be a manager here at Walmart. They're having a hiring freeze. So in the meantime, I'm learning as much as humanly possible." And he looked me in the eye and he said, "Hiring freeze?" And I said, "Yeah." He said, "Hiring freeze, smiring freeze or something crazy like that." And then he says, "I'm Bud Walton. My brother and I founded this store." And he said, "On Monday, you're going to be in my management training program." And that's exactly what happened. And I say that to tell you, these are unusual times. So in unusual times, they require us to do unusual things if we want to be success. You want to be successful. You can't keep doing what you've been doing in the past when times are normal and expect that you're going to be able to achieve during this current marketplace. So one of the things that I really love as I share that story is it moves me into my stealing and my felonious capers where Dr. King is concerned. In 1967, a little over 50 years, almost to the day, Dr. King gave a speech to Barrett Junior High in Philadelphia. And in that speech, it was called "What is Your Life's Blueprint?" So if you're writing notes, here we go. What's your life blueprint? Number one, first of all, you have to have belief in your dignity as a person. Now, that was true then, and it's true now. Number one in your life's blueprint should be a deep belief in your own dignity, your own worth, your own somebodyness, is what Dr. King said. He said, "Don't allow anybody to make you feel that you're nobody." I remember Jesse Jackson used to make people chant, "I am somebody." And that's what I want us to think about. When you're walking into these opportunities, you have to have this innate belief in you, who you are, understand your values, and then always feel like you have worth and always feel like that your life has ultimate significance. That's straight from Dr. King, and I steal that with all the pleasure that is allowed to be attached to that theft. The second thing he said was, you have to have a principle of determination to achieve excellence. You're going to be deciding as the days and the years unfold what you will do in life. what your life's work will be. And once you discover what it will be, set out and do it well. And he said, if you can't fly, run. If you can't run, walk. If you can't walk, crawl. But by all means, keep moving. And isn't that what this is all about? It's how do we continue this forward momentum during these difficult times, not only during the pandemic, but as we prepare for what happens after this pandemic. Because the one thing I do know is that if that innovation is going to come, it's going to follow this, and that isn't that the mother of all invention. And so the third thing he said was that he wanted us to be a commitment to the eternal principles of beauty, love, and justice. Nelson Mandela once said, I never lose. I either win, he said, or I learn. And we've got to embody that spirit. Losing is never going to be something that allows us to win. The attitude of a loser can never become a winner unless you intentionally say, I refuse to lose again. And so I don't even understand the concept of lose. Noah kept saying every no leads you closer to a yes. And that's exactly right. Steve Harvey once said he had 112 meetings before he had his first yes. And so he loves hearing no because every time he hears a no, he knows that yes is just around the corner. And we talk about this idea of justice. Dr. Cornell West once said that justice is just what love looks like in public. So understand who you are, understand your values, and then be committed to the eternal principles of beauty, love, and justice through the process. And Dr. King his insights were valuable in '67. They're valuable now. Now my own personal thing for number 4. So number 1, belief in your dignity as a person. Number 2, a principle of determination to achieve excellence. Number 3, commitment to the eternal principles of beauty, love, and justice. Number 4, approach with confidence and avoid fear. You know, Lil Wayne, it's funny, he was talking in the song, talks about how someone sees him moving slow, and they go, why are you moving so slow? He said, don't worry about it. I got him. It's a victory lap, and I'm jogging. And I love that as a concept. You flip these little things around in your mind and you convert that negative energy to a positive. And that's how you walk in the doors. And it doesn't matter if you are African American, if you're Latinx, it doesn't matter if they see you walk in and you're a member of the LGBTQ community. It doesn't matter if you're a woman in a challenging male environment. It doesn't matter any of those deals. If you first start with converting who you are and the energy you're giving out from day one, that I'm the energy of the winner. And you walk in as a winner and you leave as a winner. Walk in as a winner, you leave as a winner, which will allow you to win as a winner. And number 5, I would say, is refuse. This is my own thing. Know your personal brand. So you got to know who you are if you're ever going to be successful in moving forward. If you're ever going to achieve the greatness that you have been put on this earth to achieve, you've got to know your personal brand. The Greeks called it paideia. It meant dying to self daily. So what they would do is they'd wake up every day and they'd say, I'm going to be better today than I was yesterday. And tomorrow, I'm going to be better than I was today. And so I'm going to die to myself every day. I'm going to get rid of all of those, the challenges that we face. I'm going to get rid of all the negativity, and I'm going to be great. So I know my personal brand. And one of the things I'll tell you is I refuse to be a victim of the gravitational pull of humility. In other words, what that means is now is not the time for this whole false humility. Now is the time for you to expand, exude your greatness, to share how great you truly are. So walk into those interview opportunities and you make sure they understand just how great you are. And before I go into to get ready for the Q&A, I'll say this. Dr. King ended that speech that I told you about at Barrett Junior High School 50 years ago, and he said, part of this is going to be in my Dr. King voice. If it falls to your lot to be a street sweeper, sweep streets like Michelangelo painted pictures. Sweep streets like Beethoven composed music. Sweep streets like Leontine Price sings before the Metropolitan Opera. And sweep streets like Shakespeare wrote poetry. Sweep streets so well that all the hosts of heaven and earth will have to pause and say, here lived a great street sweeper who swept his job well. So if you can't be a pine on the top of the hill, be a scrub in the valley, but be the best little scrub on the side of the hill. Be a bush if you can't be a tree. If you can't be a highway, then just be a trail. If you can't be the sun, then be a star. For it isn't by size that you win or you fail, but be the best of whatever you are. That's Dr. King. That's applicable today, and you should use those. Belief in your dignity as a person, a principle of determination to achieve excellence, commitment to eternal principles of beauty, love, and justice, approach with confidence and avoid fear, and know your personal brand. And with that, I open it up to questions.
Kevin, thank you so much. To your point about knowing your personal brand, one of my first managers, Wendy, I don't want to say her last name for her privacy, but she's one of my favorite people and was such a mentor and just a boss lady. She was amazing. And I remember her sitting me down and saying, the one thing you professionally own is your brand. Don't ever forget it. You're starting out in your career. I was maybe 23 or 24. This is your moment to build that brand, but it's yours and you get to own it. So spend time, back to some of Destiny's points, spend time thinking about what that is and really own that. Thank you so much. Let's go to some of these questions. The first one, hi, Kevin. As a recent COVID-19 downsized 50-something African-American woman living with a physical disability, how can I approach putting myself back into the job market with confidence and vast experience?
Incredible. And I just turned 50 recently, so I definitely understand some of the challenges it faces after 50. And I can tell you, for you, this is the best opportunity of a lifetime for you under your circumstances. Companies are now hiring in ways that they've never hired before. Now the onus is on you to find those opportunities and show them why you're more valuable, why you and your experiences that you bring to the table makes you better and best in class. And so walk in there with the confidence, or on the Zoom meeting or whatever it is, find the opportunities where companies allow you to work virtually if that's what your goal is, but walk in with the confidence and understand how you're gonna tell them why every day they don't hire you, they're losing money.
Awesome, thank you. Our next question here, we'll probably only have time for one or two more. What's your routine for excellence like? With lots of us working from home, how do you recommend spending your day to reach your goals?
I can tell you that's a tough question for everybody. It's a brilliant, and I appreciate you asking. Number one, you have to have the habits of success, right? Like, so every day you have to wake up. This morning, I woke up at 4:30. I went to the gym. I started preparing for this, getting ready for my day. And every day I have a regimen that's already planned. That's the first thing to do, is make sure you treat every day like today is the day I'm going to hit that home run I've been trying to hit. And you go about making sure that your day is aligned to that goal. And then the other thing you have to do is consume knowledge. People act like once they get their college degree, they don't have to keep learning. I must subscribe to 42 different podcasts that I listen to on a regular basis. I'm reading every book I can get my hands on during this time, and I want to be knowledgeable. Like Dr. King says, if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready.